You're listening to the Flip Houses Like a Girl podcast, where we educate, empower, and celebrate everyday women who are facing their fears, juggling family and business, embracing their awesomeness, and wholeheartedly chasing their dream of flipping houses. Each episode delivers honest to goodness tools, tips, and strategies you can implement today to get closer to your first or next successful house flip. Here's your spiky-haired, breakfast taco-loving host, house flipping coach, Debbie DeBeery.
Hey there. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm excited to share this interview with you of two students here in the Austin area who recently completed and sold their first flip for a massive profit. Definitely record-setting for sure. And they're really good people. And they did a really quality renovation on this property. They didn't leave things undone. They went above and beyond. They created a safe, beautiful space for a new family to enjoy. And this by far was not an easy project, okay? So many things came up, including a raccoon family, more like a raccoon infestation, all right? So basically raccoons squatted in the house, okay? And that's just one thing they had to deal with. They dealt with so many hurdles. They had so many problems come up, and they just kept solving them. And that's all you can do. And a lot of people get so hung up in, well, what if I choose the wrong answer? What if I choose the wrong solution? Then guess what? You just choose again. You're not committed to that solution. If you choose one route and that doesn't work, change routes, right? Change solutions. It's not all set in stone. It is fluid. It's one of the things I love about this business. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this conversation with Emily and Jean. A little bit about you, obviously where you guys are, but maybe a little bit of your background.
Sure. Well, I'm Emily. This is my wife, Jean, and we live in Austin, Texas. And we have been part of this flipping program for the past year. I'm originally from Western New York, but moved out to Texas to join AmeriCorps after college, and planned to only be here for 1 year in Austin, ended up just kind of staying here forever. I've been here ever since. I work in the nonprofit sector. I still work for basically the AmeriCorps kind of network. So kind of community service and nonprofit work is like really important to me. And that was something that, really drew me to this program too. It was like, it wasn't just exploiting people to make money. It was about community building as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. We live in Austin with our 5 dogs, in South Austin. And Jean?
Me, I'm going to make mine much quicker and shorter, but I'm just finished teaching. I've taught 26 years. Super excited about that, to retire and on to the next chapter.
Have you been in Austin the whole time, or where are you from?
From New Mexico, and I spent 8 years teaching in New Mexico, and then I went to New Orleans, and then I came over to Austin and taught 16 years.
Nonprofit background, teaching background, and y'all decide, let's flip a house. How did that come about, that desire?
We've just always been interested in like home renovations. Our relationship basically started actually with helping a friend renovate her house. So I actually met Jean tearing up flooring at our friend's house, and it was like love at first sight.
I love it.
And I think we were both like, just, liked being with somebody who wanted to do things, be hands-on. I'm definitely more the like bookish one, and Jean's much more handy than me, but we both I think have a desire to do that. Yeah. And we've had my house as a rental for like the past 10 years and have kind of slowly been flipping it a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of making improvements as we go. And so I feel like we've learned some along the way. We knew enough to be dangerous. We didn't really know what flipping entails, but we wanted to take it to the next level. And we'd been hearing about you for so many years from our mutual friend, Kelly. And and she kept saying, oh, my friend Debbie flips houses. And we'd always say, man, we really need to take her out for coffee and figure out what she does. And then finally one day Kelly said, well, she has a program. And we said, what? Why haven't you told us about this? And as soon as she told us you had a program, we found you online, we started reading about it, and we thought, this is exactly what we want to do. And the timing was perfect because both of us, with Jean retiring, we've been planning towards that retirement for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
As soon as we had taken a trip to Costa Rica and realized, wow, we really want the flexibility to be able to go anywhere and travel and have this kind of different lifestyle. It seemed like this great way to earn some supplemental income in preparation for Jean's retirement and, potentially for me to leave, 9-to-5 work eventually myself too. So it just really appealed to us and we just jumped right in and joined your program.
I love that that's how y'all met. That's so random. I love it. Obviously, you guys just finished your first flip and sold it. Let's go through the process of, everybody wants to hear the numbers. Everybody wants to know all the details. So let's go through the process of how did you find the deal? Let's start there. How did you find this one?
Yeah, it's pretty boring because we found it on the MLS. We found it on Redfin and I had seen it at one point and favorited it. And then Jean brought it back to my attention and said, maybe we should go see this one. We had bid on 6 houses up until that point, all on the MLS and not gotten any of them. And this one just looked cute. It had curb appeal. It actually didn't look that bad on the outside. It's really when you got it inside that you realized how bad it really was. The pictures did not do it justice to how horrible it really was. And so it had gone under contract actually. So it had gone off the market and it fell through. So it came back on. And as soon as it did, we got into tour. We, pretty much jumped right on it and made an offer quickly. So we bought it through Redfin, just on the MLS.
That's amazing. Okay. Had it been on the market for a while or no?
Well, it had been for a month, but it had gotten, snatched up by another investor. And then I guess they declined or something fell through. I think the septic system is what threw them off, is my guess.
Yeah.
Knowing the surprises they didn't like once they figured out how much a new septic system costs.
Right.
And then, here come along the new investors who are more willing to take a risk. And
right.
We were willing to just make $25,000 if that was, all we could make. We were going to be happy with that.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much learning in the doing. You just have to go do. It's part of it. And if you make a great profit, awesome. If you make a little bit, most people the whole goal of the first one is to just do it in a way that makes you want to do it again, whatever that looks like to you. And most of the time it's, if we don't lose our pants on this, I'm going to feel pretty good about, trying it again.
Yeah. I remember filling out, our spreadsheet of numbers and pitching it to our hard money lender and him saying, you're really not going to make that much on this deal. Are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yes. Yeah, we want to do it. 20,000. Fine. We're good with that. We don't need to be too greedy.
I think we just wanted one that we could just start learning more, right? Where it's okay, as long as we can make a little bit of money,
right,
we'll be okay with our first one.
Yep.
To see if and so our expectations were pretty low at the beginning of what our profit would be,
Yeah. Given what it was, yes, they were low.
Right.
Okay. So you found it on the MLS. Amazing. Made an offer, got accepted. That's crazy. What was the purchase price?
This is the even crazier part. We got it for $15,000 less than it was offered for.
What happened?
Yeah, it was offered at $235. We put in an offer for $220 and we got it at $220. But pretty much no contingencies and all of that, cash offer through our hard money lender. So and it was owned by a real estate agent who was also basically a wholesaler. So he was basically wholesaling his own property.
Gotcha.
It had been owned by a family that the father had lived there alone, I guess, in his old age and had finally passed away in a nursing home. And the house had been vacant for quite some time. And the family, I think, just didn't probably know what to do with it. So this real estate agent had snatched it up and basically wholesaled it to us. And I think made quite a bit of money on it himself as well.
Bought it for $220. Initially, what was your renovation budget?
Well, in the original spreadsheet, we put in a budget of 101,000.
Okay.
That was the target, 101.
That's a pretty hardy budget.
It is a very hardy budget.
But
you would think
everything needed replaced.
we aren't very good. We realized it's sticking to a budget. But also there were a lot of surprises that I guess we just didn't realize how much we were getting into and how long it would take. So in the end, the renovations ended up being around 155.
Okay.
So a lot more than the original, 54,000 more.
For financing, did you finance the renovations as well as the purchase?
We did. We did have some money though from our home equity line of credit on our house that basically helped us put down the down payment and funded some of, created some of the cash flow for like renovations and paying contractors. But the loan was from a hard money lender. And then we ended up, because we went over budget, we really had to finance it from personal savings and from like personal credit cards to cover that $54,000 in overage. I have never put so many things on the credit card in my life. It was a little scary, to be honest.
No, that's very scary.
We're going to get lots of, airline miles. So that's good.
Okay. So, all right. And then initially, what was your renovation timeline?
We thought, about 4 months from start to finish with contracting and all of that. So we thought, 3 months to renovate, 1 month to sell and close. We knew things were selling fast in Austin, so we weren't really that worried about that part. We thought that would go fast. So we thought 4 months. It really turned into a full 6-month project, but that includes closing.
That's not bad at all. For some reason, I was thinking it was longer. I think like just the last 16 months have been so weird, or 14 months, 15, 18 months. I don't even know where we are in this year. It's been such a weird like time warp where it all feels really fast. And then it also feels really slow. It's such a weird time.
Yeah, agreed. No, it was only 6 months and our hard money loan was only 6 months. So, we used up I think we had 7 days left maybe on our hard money
that's
loan
scary.
to pay it off.
I didn't realize y'all had a 6-month loan. That's scary. I remember some contractor issues.
Yes.
So you didn't finish with the same contractor you started with. Is that right? Or did he end up pulling through?
No, we basically dealt with some contractor fraud and theft, essentially. A contractor operating in bad faith who really, first of all, underbid the project. I think, we really had a good rapport with him. We liked him personally. We had him bid some things on our own personal home before. We wanted to give him business. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure really what the issue was. I don't know if he intended to scam us. I don't know if he just underbid and then kind of got himself in a corner and knew he couldn't really come through with the amount. He also just had a lot of issues, I think, with his crew and not paying them on time. So they were unreliable. And then he had a family member die of COVID. So he was just like MIA for a while. So, it just became one thing after another. And he put us back about 6 weeks of us just waiting for him to show up on site and do stuff with just like very little to no communication. And unfortunately, we made, the rookie mistake of paying him a down payment up front. Mm-hmm. Theoretically, he was supposed to be ordering materials with that money.
Right.
No materials were ever ordered. He did finish one thing, which was he did have a couple guys do demo. So we did demo with him and that was it. But he still owes us money. And unfortunately, there might still be a small claims court case in our future.
Yeah.
But we just haven't really been able to focus on that. We needed to just move on and get things done and find another contractor.
So you said there were about 6 weeks where you guys were kind of like, you did some demo, but it was a little bit idle. It's such a scary feeling.
Yeah, that was scary. That was
Nothing
the scary
is
month.
happening. Nothing.
Yeah.
Please just show up.
Right. Do something.
Do anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that was one of my favorite parts when somebody showed up and actually started doing something. I was like, whoa, okay.
You found a replacement and that went okay?
Generally, yeah. I think there are things that could go better. I don't know if we'll use that contractor again, but they got this second contractor, they got us through the end. We ended up finding him basically on Facebook, kind of posting, our scope of work and saying, here's our timeline, who wants to give us bids, got a zillion responses, basically set aside an entire weekend to just interview contractors. So literally we fired the first contractor on a Friday, and we started interviewing the next contractors on the Saturday.
Awesome.
And we started like next Tuesday, basically, like with somebody else. So we moved pretty fast at that point. We were ready to get going.
Yep.
And we probably interviewed like 10 contractors that weekend and just showed them the house and went back to back with our questions, and got a lot of, good leads.
How did you choose this one? What made him stand out?
He seemed hungry for the work, where somebody kind of keeps coming back and checking in with you. And he was willing to be negotiable. His first bid had come in way too high, and I think he knew it. So he checked back in with me, and I said, yeah, we have another bid that's, like so much lower for labor. Can you match that? And he couldn't. He came pretty close to matching it, but because he was, hungry for the work, and he actually ended up he graduated from the high school Gene teaches at years ago. So we were like, oh, a student, we want to support his new business. We really want to support him. And he lived locally, which we really liked. I think if there's one thing I've learned about contractors, find somebody local, find somebody who lives nearby where it's going to be convenient for them to stop by. Right. It's not far for them if they forget something to go get stuff. They know the area, they know the shops to go to, they know where the local Home Depot is.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So we talked about the budget and what were some of the surprises? The septic ended up being a surprise.
Well, I mean, the septic we knew we had a septic, right? But there's way different prices and levels of septic tanks, right? So it ended up, I think, costing us like $25,000.
Oh, 20. Yeah.
20.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and then the septic, you wait 2 months for them to approve your plan and then to get your permit, right? And then they show up one day and put the thing in, and it's nowhere where it was supposed to be on the plan. And you're like, wait, wasn't it supposed to be over here? And they're like, well, no, this is better. Well, I mean, they put it like where we didn't want it. You know what I mean? And
they put it where the deck was supposed to go.
Oh, are you serious? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so we, and they convinced me, I'm trusting the expert that this is the best place for it, and blah, 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 blah. And so I let it be, because it's a lot to move, right? It's like a huge hole.
Right.
But I wish we would have made them move that according to plan. Okay. And then the plan, I was like, how can they take 2 months in the septic? The woman that was with the company with the septic tank, she says, oh, don't worry, I'll talk to him. And you're like, how can you just talk to him when I waited 2 months for them to approve this plan?
Oh, gosh.
It was horrible, but we got through that too.
Well, I think the other surprise with the septic was I did not realize how many types of septic systems there are. We knew it needed a septic, but we didn't know it needed an aerobic septic system that is required by the county for this particular neighborhood and area, because it's near,
soil.
I guess,
of the soil.
It's like the water level or something. Yeah, you have to be extra careful about pollution and contamination and things like that. So aerobic septic systems, they cost twice as much as a regular septic system. And they're very complicated. I think you saw the photos I had posted of the purple tubing that goes through. I mean, it's like a whole irrigation system. And it's just really complex. There's motors, and you need a separate power outlet, and there's a lot more that goes into an aerobic septic. So that was
a big tank.
Surprise.
No, it's not.
No.
That was what was there.
It's your own wastewater treatment system. You have your own wastewater treatment system. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that was a surprise. I think the other surprise, as I mentioned, demo was done by the first contractor. And it was really great when we showed up and saw, oh my gosh, somebody is here working. But they were tearing out all the sheetrock, which we had originally said, take out sheetrock as needed. They tore it all out. And once they tore the sheetrock out, once they tore that out, we saw the insulation and how bad the insulation was. The insulation was moldy, wet, had raccoon and rat urine in it. So basically demo went from normal demo to mega demo. And that also affected our budget, I'm sure, is like having to replace all sheetrock and insulation and basically take it down to the studs.
Oh my gosh.
Which we weren't planning to take it down to the studs.
No, that is not a good surprise. That's not a good surprise.
We were happy they were doing demo, just not that kind of demo.
And I even put big red X's on the walls. I wanted them to demo, and
this is why communication with your contractor really, really matters.
Right. Over communicate. Even though it sounds like you're just repeating yourself, do it.
Yeah. There were more surprises too. I mean, the winter storm in February here in Texas that delayed us another 2 weeks just because for 1 week, nobody was working. I think we got our window delivery the day the storm was basically starting, and they didn't even want to deliver the windows. We had to beg them to deliver the windows. The house was wide open. There were no walls at the time. Luckily, we did have a new roof. But basically
we had sheathing on.
Barely. We had opened up all the framing. So we had a wide open house during that ice storm. And then contractors were so busy after that. You know, it's hard to get them to show back up quickly. Plumbers were busy for weeks.
Yeah.
It was an ordeal.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you didn't have like major plumbing issues after that. Or did you have?
We had just had the plumber there right before that, but he was adding new plumbing and stuff. So I'm just like, phew.
It survived the freeze. Yeah. Because there was no water in it, luckily. No water in the pipes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, you all had a lot. Okay. What any other surprises?
I think just the cost of materials, you know, everything's been getting more and more expensive, lumber, etc.
Yeah, it's going down now. But it was more expensive, especially when you didn't plan on doing as much as you ended up having to do. All right. So I'm glad there aren't any more surprises. I'm not sure what more there could have been.
The raccoons. We didn't talk about the raccoons.
Oh, wait, what? Did you have a raccoon?
Well, I think once we started getting bids, we had the HVAC contractor come in and, you know, look at the HVAC, and they quickly realized this is a raccoon house. That's why it's in such bad condition, because it had been vacant for so many years that all the ducts were completely torn up by raccoon claws.
Oh my God.
And there were no ducts basically left. So it wasn't just putting in like a compressor for the air conditioner. I mean, it was the entire system plus the duct work and, you know, sealing up everything so that raccoons could never get back in there. I mean, there were holes the size of, you know, my torso where raccoons had been getting in, and just the smell of, you know, years of raccoon family living in there. So yeah, we pretty much did face a lot of surprises.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay.
But it looks so cute on the outside.
But that's what happens when you leave a house vacant. It literally just like starts falling apart. Raccoons move in and it becomes a raccoon squat. And now the raccoons own the house. All right. So at this point, are you like, holy crap, like we're going to lose our pants on this? Or what are you thinking? Or are you watching houses? Like, tell me what you're thinking as all of these things keep coming up.
Yeah. Panic, more panic.
Right. It was a lot of panic and then hope when you're seeing the market go up as well. You know, you're like, okay, because our original comps in that neighborhood, what we thought we could sell it for the beginning, were nowhere near what we sold it for.
Yeah.
So it just that was our hope. You know what I mean? It was like,
at one point, I mean, we looked at each other and I think Jean said, you know, should we just sell this house and get rid of it? Like, is it time to just cut our losses, basically?
Yeah.
We seriously did think about it.
And then, I mean, that was, and then the plan B was like, well, maybe we're going to have to buy it. You know what I mean?
I've had that as a plan B. Yeah, I do. Like, I can totally feel what y'all were feeling. Seeing, okay, things are going as slow or as fast as they're going, right? We can't do anything else to impact the speed. We're doing everything we can. More surprises keep coming up. And you almost reach the point of, dude, let's just sell it. Like, let's just get rid of it. What made you stick with it? was it looking at the comps and seeing the comps, or was it just y'all being like, no, we're doing this? What made you stick with it?
I think it was, we got to finish the project. You know what I mean? Like, we got to finish this out and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
The comps were helpful. I mean, as it went, but in the early stages, when I had my first doubts, that's when I had my most doubts before things started. You're like, when nobody's showing up and
and all that piling on at the beginning, and you don't really your comps are the comps you already looked at, so it's like at the beginning you don't have any more to look at. Okay,
I think it was finding the contractor. Once things started happening and you could see it happening and you could see the siding going on and these nice changes happening, we both, I think, felt really relieved and really excited, and it was just so fulfilling. I remember to see the siding and the roof. I said, I've never seen a more beautiful roof in my life. It's the most beautiful thing that I've ever purchased.
It's my favorite roof.
It was like everything that got put on. I was like, this is my favorite thing ever. Because it got us momentum, I think, again, finding that contract.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So initially, when you were running numbers, what was your initial ARV?
400,000.
Okay.
Yep.
So you bought it for, I keep forgetting, 220?
220. Yeah.
101-ish is what you're thinking for repairs. 400. All right, cool. And then everything starts inching up. Maybe footing up is a better analogy. Your renovation budget starts going up and you're like, oh my gosh. All right. You've dealt with all of these contractor issues. You've dealt with not just surprises, but expensive surprises. The septic system ended up being what?
20 or so.
It makes me, that feeling in my stomach, it's the same I get when I have to replace the drain lines underneath the foundation I just lifted, because nobody sees that stuff, right? It's like, let me spend 20 grand on something we're all going to see.
Right. You can do a lot with 20,000.
It hurts. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So lots of surprises, lots of hurdles. And then you go to put it on the market, which was what month?
I guess it was May. Yeah.
Okay. So you listed it in May, and what did you come on the market at?
Well, we had a hard time deciding. We decided with, consulting with you and looking at local comps to try to stay under the 450 range. Because, in search engines, people search in increments of 50,000. So we came on the market at 449.
Okay.
But we knew that would just barely get us past break even, basically, at that point. So we were a little nervous to go on the market that low, even though it was higher than the original ARV. We were just really nervous that would be what it would sell for, would be the asking price.
Yeah. So first weekend, did you get an offer the first weekend?
We did. We got an offer for the asking price the first weekend, 449.
Okay. And then did you accept it?
No, we did not. We decided to set a deadline. We waited till kind of another offer had come in. And then as soon as you had multiple offers, we worked with our Listing Spark agent to negotiate and put a deadline on. So I think we gave people 3 or 4 days to, bid on the property. And also the first offer, they wanted a pool. That wasn't going to work. So that one ended up kind of falling through anyway.
Oh, gosh.
But within the first week, we had 12 offers, about half of which were over $500,000.
Okay. So what were you thinking?
We were thinking, check.
We were relieved. I was relieved.
Jean was relieved.
I was so happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like you went under contract with one and then ended up with another. Is that right?
Yeah, there was another surprise in store for us with the buyer situation. No, we did go under contract with a buyer that wasn't the highest offer, but had more cash. So it made us a little bit more comfortable in terms of the appraisal process.
Yes. Yep.
So we went with them. Unfortunately, that buyer did not work out. They were very, very picky.
Okay.
They found issues with everything. They had a realtor who was really incendiary about things, kind of blew things up. And basically the final straw was that they insulted us. And they said that there was this minor issue that we had already fixed with the plumbing. We had given them the report from the plumber. We used their plumber to fix it. And they still basically came back and said, now we're questioning the quality of your work. And at that point, after all the blood, sweat, and tears we had poured into this property and treated it like our own and used all the things we would have used in our own house.
Yeah.
And to be told that, we basically just said, sorry, like they were going to make a lower offer. They had canceled their original offer. We're going to come back with a lower offer. We said, no, thanks.
Oh, God.
And we went with our original gut, which was to go with the highest offer. Really
They
great.
wrote us a nice letter, those
Yeah.
people. I wanted to go with them from the beginning, and then it was just, we didn't.
But it was a risk because they had
Right.
less cash.
Right.
To bring to
Right.
closing.
You just don't know. Okay. So you come back on the market, or did you come back on the market, or did you just go to another buyer?
We just went straight back to the highest bidder and said, are you still interested? And they said, absolutely. We want the house. It was their dream house. It was a couple that was buying their first home together, even though they were a little older, more professional folks, going to have a baby and like kind of starting this new chapter in their lives. And they really wanted to be there. And they and their agent were great to work with. Like they had some, things they wanted fixed, but they were all reasonable and very doable. And we were happy to do them. We even threw in a little housewarming gift of a homemade cedar bench that Jean had made that they loved and wanted to keep.
Well, they wanted to buy it.
And we gave it to them. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a
that's
gift.
awesome. That's awesome. I love
So it was
that.
a lovely process in the end. So it
I
worked
love
well.
that. How long were you off the market or under contract with the other buyer before that one terminated, the first buyer?
We lost about a week to that.
Okay. Oh gosh. And then to like cross your fingers and hope that the other buyers are still available.
Right.
Oh God.
Right.
Oh geez. Y'all are stressing me out with this entire deal.
I know. I was
Is it
stressed
normal?
out.
Squirming in my seat.
I
Okay.
was stressed out.
All right. So you went on at $449. What did you end up selling for?
Well, the grand total, the final offer was $560,000. So 110 over asking, which we were very, very happy with because we knew the 449 was not going to get us where we wanted to be.
Right. That's amazing. It's such a beautiful house y'all created. Who did the designs? Like who chose the finishes?
We both did. Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
both enjoyed that part? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What a ride. I mean, to go from the beginning of 6 weeks of not much happening and feeling like, man, let's just cut our losses and bounce, to selling for considerably over asking and a profit of, what was your final profit?
It was a little over $130,000. So a pretty transformational amount for us and for anybody.
Anybody. I mean, just wow. I mean, that just wow. Wow.
Yeah, a good way to start.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, I love it because there was so much adversity. Like there was so much that came up. And like to have that as the finale, like just awesome. Congratulations to you. It's amazing. It's amazing. The house is so cute. Like it's so cute. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful space.
It was hard to let it go, to be honest.
I bet.
I grew to love it, actually.
We don't have farmhouses here. Like, right? So to see like this really cool farmhouse, like it's such a unique property in the middle of Utah.
Right,
Texas, City of Hayes, technically.
City of Hayes. Like,
population like 1,000.
No, 228.
Oh, Jean became good friends with the city of Hayden.
Yeah.
She bonded with, because there's only one person who works there in the whole city government, and she runs, the permits. She had to call the plumbing inspector for us. She knows everyone and everything. And it was incredible. It was a great community to be in.
That was my favorite part, I think, about the whole entire flip, was meeting the community and like the next door neighbor, it was the most amazing gardener, this elderly lady from Korea and it would bring me cookies over and give me, cucumber, whatever.
I love that.
And she didn't speak one bit of English, and I didn't speak one bit of Korean. We just waved at each other.
There was a 90-year-old across the street who would come over, and he called himself the supervisor. He would come over to check on the crew and make sure everyone was working while we weren't there. We did not invite him, but he showed up frequently. And then whenever his family would be over on the weekends, they would all come over and walk through the house and look at things. Apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was a great community, it was awesome out there. It was peaceful.
What was your favorite part, Emily?
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I know it's hard to pinpoint it.
I think what was most satisfying to me is, I work a remote job, over a computer. I'm on Zoom all day. It's hard to see things happen. And it was so exciting to see tangible progress and tangible things that I had a hand in creating come to fruition.
Yep.
And I am totally addicted. Like I love the action. I love getting things done. I think I also really like the problem solving. Like it just felt very empowering to realize no matter what obstacle you come up against, there is a solution. It may not be perfect, but you will find a solution. And I realized I just gained so much confidence through that process.
That's awesome.
Realizing I could troubleshoot any of this.
Exactly.
And
that's key.
I don't really know construction and I'm not handy, but I can figure it out.
Exactly. Honestly, that is the thing. That is the one thing. If I could instill in every single person who wanted to do whatever it is they wanted to go do, is that self-trust. Like that's it. But if you don't have that self-trust of, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Even though I have to go through some really hard things and it's not always fun and it's not always easy, but I'll be okay. Like it's hard. That's like the number one thing right there is that self-trust. So I love hearing that.
I feel like surviving this, we can do anything. Like we really can do anything.
Right. Because we both did it when we had full-time jobs too.
Demanding jobs.
Right. So, okay. When it comes to things that maybe like limiting beliefs that you had, or things that maybe you thought about yourself, like, is there something, or are there things that changed in you? Like initially you thought, no, I'm not good at this, or, I'm not good at whatever it is. Like one of mine was, I'm not good at design. Well, I'm actually really good at it, but I just didn't know. I didn't do any of that before. So that was definitely one of mine. Did you have any like limiting beliefs going into this that were kind of shattered, or at least shifted in some way?
Yeah. Hearing you say that, it makes me realize actually what I think I learned is I always think, well, I'm not good at math. I'm really good at math. I killed it on the math. Like I feel like I had backup plans, and we made mistakes for sure. We made lots of mistakes. We should have had more buffer. All of that is true. We went over budget, but we kept an eye on it the whole time and adjusted the math, and we looked at the math, and I feel really empowered by that.
That's huge.
That's what I didn't look at the number. I didn't look at the bank. I didn't look at the statements. Like I couldn't, right? I was to the point, it was like, I would just trusted that she would. And sometimes I didn't trust she was telling me the truth.
I think Jean's was financial, having a lot of financial doubt that there's no way we could make this amount of money. We don't deserve this amount. Like our work we're not going to be rewarded with this amount of money, that it seems too good to be true.
Yeah,
that's a huge one.
Because we had just we had everything planned to retire, and we were kind of financially stable. We had everything kind of in motion, and then it was just like, whoa, all those things, we went back in dead with our HELOC, and it was like,
That
So
one's huge for sure. Yeah, that one's huge.
Now, like, we have a little backup, right? So we have to do our next one. We don't have to like go into debt.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. But that's a big one for sure. I don't deserve that kind of windfall.
We like won the lottery, basically. I mean, let's be honest. If you had a lottery ticket with that amount of money, you'd be thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah, those are two really big ones for sure. Is there anything else that you guys want to share? I'm trying to be mindful of time. I didn't realize I was that chatty. Anything else y'all want to share before we wrap up the call?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things we would do differently, that we hope to do differently next time. I think we learn to pay for expertise when you need it, you know, like cutting corners on things like plumbing and electricity. That came back to bite us, you know, in inspection where we had to get things fixed. You know, our key contractor didn't really have that expertise and thought he did, perhaps.
Got it.
So I think not being too cheap on those things you really need the help with. You know, I think not rushing. All the mistakes we made were either made out of financial fear or rushing, I've realized. Like, and I fell into that trap again and again, you know, of feeling like we just needed to get it done. Sometimes I problem solve too quickly. And sometimes you need to step back and not rush things.
Man, dang, that hits home. Okay.
Rushing, financial fear. Those are the two big ones for me. And then I think just like worrying less and enjoying it more. Like, we did not do a great job of self-care during this process.
Yeah.
We were both working full time. All weekends were spent basically on the flip, all evenings. We need to eat, sleep, exercise, cook, take care of like daily needs. I need to like never eat Taco Bell again. I feel like I lived off Taco Bell for like, it's like the only vegetarian thing I could eat in the area. I feel like I need to cook for myself again and relax, you know, and hopefully we will be doing that more with Jean retiring. And my big news is that because of this amazing program and windfall, I have decided to leave 9-to-5 work and flip another house with Jean this fall. So my last day of like W-2 employment is October 1st.
That's amazing. I feel like, or I wonder, you know, couples always process things differently. Jean, does that scare you at all that she's leaving?
It kind of does.
Yeah.
You know? Because,
yeah, for sure.
A teacher's retirement is not going to support two people, right? You know what I mean? Not here in this country. So that's plan B if we're going to Mexico or Costa Rica.
Hey, I've done the math and I feel really good about it. You know,
I've done the math.
Our plan. I've done the math. I mean,
I love it.
Our plan is to flip 1 to 2 houses a year, basically, and keep it simple and enjoy it.
Yep.
That's what I want to do.
I am all about the keep it simple, keep it lean. Yeah. And that's hard. And I love that you say it so confidently, because what I hear is do more, right? Not do less, not even do enough that makes you happy. Do more because surely it'll make you happier, right? When sometimes no. I value time freedom so much. Just like the space, you know, space to breathe. So I love that you say it so confidently. Like, do a year. That's awesome. And thank you for sharing your story. It's so fun to be a part of it and just watch your journey along the way. Yeah, y'all are awesome. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for this amazing program, and shout out to all the amazing women in it, because we really couldn't have done it without the support and the cheering from the sidelines and the troubleshooting online and our local network. You know, that we've really become friends and we've met up and we cheer each other on. So thank you. I mean, just thank you, because you really did put us on this path to financial independence. And it's something we've been working towards for a long time. And this has finally given us the freedom that we've been craving and the freedom that we deserve. So thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. That's awesome. I'm happy. That's awesome. Thank y'all. And
Thanks.
I'll see y'all in the group.
Yeah. Bye, Debbie.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Amazing. I loved connecting with y'all and hearing your story. And thank you again for sharing it with us, Emily and Jean. All of the adversity, the hurdles, and the challenges. At one point, Jean was ready to just sell it and move on. But they stuck with it because they wanted to finish. They had to finish. Just so inspiring. If you, dear listener, want to learn how to confidently flip your first or next house following proven step-by-step processes, repeatable in any kind of market, anywhere across the US, with incredible support of our FlipSisters family and community, you have the opportunity to do that now. Go to firstflipdoneright.com to get more information. All right, it's back to school for the kids. That means back to you, for you, right, moms or caregivers or guardians? We get a little bit more me time starting this month. So invest in yourself and chase this dream you have, this curiosity you have. Whatever it is, chase it. All right. Until next time, go out there, leave people and places better than you find them, and make it a great day. Bye, y'all.